What's the way to, you know what I'm saying? Try to come back another last semester, everybody, boom. Jack Murdoch boxing. Now listen. Talking about we are witnessing a mini Mike Tyson. We gonna see what they talking about, man. We gonna see if bro really talking about what he talking about. You feel me? Make sure you stay blessed, make sure you stay that kind of. Let's get into this, John. My bad.
Isak, Pitbull Cruz.
I ain't gonna lie, he had to go sit off and look into the sunlight. Gaze about what just happened, man.
Isak Cruz has done it!
This is Isak Cruz, and he just confirmed one of the oldest themes in the sport of boxing. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. Standing 5'4", Cruz,
do y'all hear him though? Do y'all hear him?
Or Pitbull is always the smaller fighter. Always. But that didn't stop him from knocking out Roy Romero to win the 140-pound title. In fact, in the long rich history of boxing, Cruz is the shortest man to ever win the light welterweight championship. So it begs the question, just how much does height really matter? It didn't matter much for Sam Langford, or Rocky Marciano, or Roberto Duran, or even Manny Pacquiao. And it certainly didn't matter for Mike Tyson. In fact, Iron Mike has even said Cruz is the modern boxer who reminds him most of himself. Pitbull is taking the boxing world by storm, and proving that even the smallest of us can pack a big punch.
Dang.
I have a hot take. Smaller fighters are more interesting to watch than bigger fighters. Don't get me wrong, I love a heavyweight slugfest as much as the next guy. But it's speed, skill, and technique where the sweet science really shines through. Heavyweights can be sluggish, relying more on size and raw punching power to bully their opponents. This is in part why I think Prime Tyson captured the public's imagination far beyond boxing.
Oh my gosh, bro, bobbing him around like he a rag doll. You saw his head bobble up? There's no way.
He was a regular-sized dude, using finesse to knock out giants. Tyson even considers his lack of height to be an advantage in the ring.
I think, it's to my advantage. I crouch low just to make my opponents punch down, because I know where they're going to punch at. Because I'm down there and I'm looking at them. Because I'm so low and I come up, I feel it's to my advantage because they can't see most of my punches coming. I get a lot of leverage from my punches. And it doesn't matter if I punch up or straight or down or around. I have good leverage.
And like Mike, being a shorter boxer has been part of the blueprint for many a champion. In 1906, 5'7" Tommy Burns became the smallest man to win the world heavyweight title, a record he holds to this day. But let's be real, the sport has come a long way since a 168-pound man could be heavyweight champ. Take a look at Dwight Muhammad Qawi, who at 5'6.5" was a light heavyweight champion, a cruiserweight champion, and even a small but game heavyweight. Qawi most notably beat Leon Spinks, dropped a 15-round split decision to Evander Holyfield, and managed to last 7 rounds against George Foreman. Like many shorter fighters, he had supreme defense, utilizing great head movement and often bending at the waist.
Bro, what? Do he got the Sharingan on, bro? There's no way that he moving like that. Bro, moving like he throwing punches in slow motion.
To slip punches. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you and claim he was some elite world beater, but come on. This was a 5'6" man going toe-to-toe with Holyfield and Foreman. Can you imagine Terrence Crawford, who's taller by the way, bulking up and fighting Alexander Usyk or Joseph Parker? Qawi was built different and might just be the most impressive short fighter in pound-for-pound history. But if we're talking about the modern fight game, we need to look no further than Gervonta Tank Davis. At 5'5.5", he is, by default, a giant slayer in all of his fights. The lightweight champion is the smallest of the bunch, but he's undoubtedly the hardest puncher. And how exactly does Tank deal with boxers who tower over him? Well, along with being a fantastic counterpuncher,
Ryan.
Davis chops down the tree. Tank gave up 6 inches in height and 4 inches in reach to Mario Barrios, but if you kill the body, the head will fall. And in his super fight against Ryan Garcia, the fast-handed fighter was beginning to surge in confidence after recovering from an early knockdown. But nothing will stop a fighter dead in his tracks like a well-placed body shot. Tank's pinpoint accuracy and Garcia's fractured rib
liver shot, bro. Oh, dang, man.
ensured that the taller fighter ended the fight on his knees. The liver shot is a staple in any smaller fighter's arsenal, and very necessary in these Davis and Goliath type fights. Now, what if I told you there was a man punching far above his weight class, torturing opponents an entire head taller than him, and doing so with highlight reel knockouts? Well, there's a reason why Canelo Alvarez is the face of boxing. The undisputed champion is 5'8" on a good day, and that's completely fine if he was a super featherweight. But the man has put on muscle intelligently, and his legendary work ethic in the gym keeps him from sacrificing too much skill or agility whilst putting on the pounds. After capturing world titles at super welterweight, middleweight, super middleweight, and even light heavyweight, he's only now finally bumping into his upper limit. Canelo is built like a truck, and that's allowed him to carry his power up to 175 while also staying defensively spry. 6'3" Callum Smith had every physical advantage over Canelo, but once he tasted his power, he could only shell up and try to survive. Part of the Mexican strategy was to target the taller man's arms, neutralizing his left hook. Smith walked away with a torn bicep, and Canelo walked away with his belts. There is a limit, by the way. Naoya Inoue can't become heavyweight champ. At least I don't think so. The old adage goes, a good big man always beats a good little man. Canelo found out when he fought light heavyweight Dmitry Bivol, who reminded him and us that there is a reason why weight classes exist. Bivol's Soviet style doesn't care if you're a knockout artist or a technician. You're getting jabbed and he's bouncing out of range. Which makes me wonder, what's the ceiling for
He forgot it was a boxing match? Why you pick him up like that?
Isak Cruz? Well, he already lost to Tank Davis, but it's not as bad a mark on his record as you might think. Pitbull was a 2-week last-minute replacement and shocked the world with his performance. This kid no one heard of was using a peekaboo style and pressing the action against the champion. For once, we saw a Davis opponent who didn't fight scared. It was the first time Tank had fought a live fighter shorter than himself. Seemingly out of nowhere, the 23-year-old took on the
I ain't gonna lie, he throwing them paws. He throwing them balls right now, bro. Tank.
sport's biggest puncher, exhibited a disciplined defense, and even got a couple licks in of his own. He ended Tank's 6-year, 16 consecutive knockout streak, with many even thinking he deserved the win. And although he lost, Cruz displayed his mini Mike Tyson style, winning over the hearts of fans all over the world. Which leads us to his recent fight against Rolly Romero. During fight week, Romero was loud and abrasive, while Cruz was simply locked in. With a high guard and tightly wound hooks, he rocked Rolly in the first. The champ survived the round, but his legs were on borrowed time. Following a one-sided affair, a hurricane of hooks and uppercuts ragdolled Romero, forcing the ref to end the fight. It was an outcome we all saw coming, and despite one of the judges having Romero ahead, the boxing world rejoiced in its newfound champion. Pitbull scored a Tyson-esque knockout over a villain in Rolly, and in doing so planted the seeds of his future stardom. The only question is, who's next? The obvious answer is the Tank rematch, which Cruz has been chasing for 3 years. Now that he's 25, Pitbull is just entering his physical prime and feels that with a full training camp, he can beat the Baltimore puncher. But Davis seems a little reluctant.
Does this deserve a rematch?
Hell no.
Now that he's a champion with pay-per-view buying fans, Tank might just change his mind. Otherwise, a fight against Subriel Matias would be a classic Mexican versus Puerto Rican slugfest. Or if he wants to cash out and raise his profile, Cruz could always fight Ryan Garcia. Pitbull has proven to be an exciting, aggressive champion, but can he get around Devin Haney's jab or the athleticism of Teofimo Lopez? I don't know if he'd win these fights, but I do know I want to watch them. It'd be an uphill battle for Cruz, but greatness often is. While height and reach are typically a disadvantage for smaller pound-for-pound fighters, it turns out it's become a problem for modern heavyweights too. These guys are all in the same weight class, and I found out who would win.
That's a WV.
Give your projects a friendly jolt.
That was a W video, man. Real talk, I see what they mean by talking about little Mike Tyson, man. Cause he be throwing them boys crazy. I want to see a rematch between him and Tank to see what they gonna do. What y'all think gonna happen, man? Make sure you stay blessed. Make sure you stay iconic. Comment, subscribe. I don't say that. I'm gonna catch you on.
The love in the eyes of the kid that was lost and it turned to a rebel. Mama don't give up on me.